But let's move on to something a little bit more happier. Talk about bounty hunters. Talk about the Mandalorian. It's just a week away, Brian. It is just a week away. It's actually under a week away by the time this comes out. We will be watching it, and I believe, if I heard this correctly, I could be dead wrong, but I'm pretty sure on Tuesday, Disney Plus drops 6 a.m. Eastern, so 3 a.m. our time.
Cool. I'm calling in work.
I could be mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. If that's the case and the show does in fact drop at 3 a.m., I will be here, and we will be doing after show, and then I'll be going to work, which is
You're going to actually go to work?
I got to go to work. I'm going to have to go to work.
I might just take the day and watch it over and over.
Just a little plug before we get going on this conversation here. We will be doing an after show, technically. We're going to watch the episodes, dive into some spoiler stuff afterwards. For some names?
All right. Don't we have our name for
that? We're still working on the name. We're still working on
might get a little special Mandalorian show.
Yeah, we're still working on the name. But, yeah, it's going to be myself, Brian. Jacob will be on there if he can without work and school. Lane, you saw him on the reactions from the Rise of Skywalker. He'll probably be popping in too. So look out for that. After every episode, we'll have 2 next week because there are 2 episodes, which is awesome.
Tuesday and Friday.
But before we get to that, because we do have a couple days, let's talk some Mandalorian. There's some stuff going on here now. And before we get to some theories and expectations and some questions about the show, New York Times last week revealed that the first episode is going to, quote, contain a Star Wars universe spoiler.
And Jake knows exactly what it is because he freaking... if this isn't it, I'll be shocked.
See, now, I'll take credit for myself coming up with it on my own, but it's already been said on the web because this is a couple days old, so that's fine. If you're gonna be like, oh, you copied that for someone, that's fine. I told Brian this a while ago.
It was breaking news to me.
And we're just shooting. This is how our schedule works. We shoot this on certain days. We weren't able to shoot it right away. Before I get to mine, Brian, first thing that when I had mentioned this to you last week when we talked about it, what was kind of like the first thing that popped in your head? Was there anything like...
No, I had nothing.
No idea.
I had no idea. I was like...
Like, what could it be?
What the hell could it be? Like,
yeah.
I had zero idea. Zero. Like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, it's not going to be something Jedi. It's not going to be something Force. So what could it possibly be? And then you showed up.
Yeah, so for those of you who are probably screaming at the screen right now or something, if it is not an answer to Boba Fett, I'll probably break your teeth.
No, not mine.
It has to be. It makes complete sense that it would be Boba Fett. Not just because it has to do with Mandalorians, because of bounty hunters. Dave Filoni is directing the first episode. Dave Filoni is directing the first episode. How can it not be Boba Fett?
Yeah.
He's the last one who dealt with Boba Fett in the Clone Wars. How can it not be Boba Fett?
Yeah, I mean, there's too many things that could tie him to it.
Oh, yeah.
The first time we ever saw Boba Fett was the Christmas special. Mm-hmm. His weapon is literally taken
the
from
weapon of the Mandalorian.
The Christmas special.
Mm-hmm.
The story is about bounty hunters. Who's the most famous bounty hunter in all of Star Wars lore? Boba Fett. Like, it makes too much sense. Like, and people will lose their minds, especially if he's alive.
So let's get to that. I mean, because we I mean, is he? Do you think he is?
I don't know. I feel like people would kind of be... Some people... You're going to have a 50-50 split. People are either going to be super stoked or super pissed. Kind of the same way I feel like Palpatine's coming back. Like, I
definitely think it'll be more divisive than that.
To me, it reminds me of Maul. Like, people were like...
Well, a lot of people didn't know he was coming back because he was in the animated show.
I know.
Oh, you're talking about Solo.
No, just in general.
Oh, okay.
Like, people were like... Well, okay, perfect example. One of our buddies was like, he's not alive. He's dead. Blah, blah, blah. We're like, we literally saw him at the end of Solo. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no.
That's because he didn't watch the animated shows and we knew for the longest time and he had no idea.
And so I kind of feel like there will be those types of people that are like, no,
but
he's dead.
So, does that mean that you think he'll show up on the show?
No.
I think it's a name drop. We're talking about him.
Because that's a risk.
I
think you are crossing into dangerous territory.
And Filoni and Favreau are not going to do that. No. So He died in Return of the Jedi. He died.
Yeah.
Right? This last time we saw him.
This takes 1,000 years to digest it.
This takes 5 years after... Takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. We could very well see him. There's obviously that chance.
I think, if anything, we would see, like
maybe he's just drinking in the bar.
His armor.
Maybe he's just, like, drinking in the bar or something.
Well, see, this is the thing. We'll never... I don't think, and it would be a huge mistake if they did, to ever show his face.
Do you think he'll ever show up in the show? Because I literally just thought of something on the spot.
Then go ahead.
I
honestly have no idea.
What if the 8 episodes go on, everything happens right, we don't, and we hear the spoiler in the first episode that it's Boba Fett? What if the very last shot of the season 1 is panning over to his helmet, and it goes black, and it sets up season 2?
Oh, I could see something like that, except his ship, the Slave
One. But that means he'd have to get his ship back.
You don't think Boba Fett can do that?
We don't know what he's been doing. That's the thing. We don't know what he's been doing.
He's got to fly somewhere.
Was his ship scrapped?
That's his dad's ship.
We don't know. We don't know what happened.
I mean, if the Millennium Falcon can come back, then...
No, nothing can live like the Millennium Falcon, Brian. Come on.
I mean, Boba Fett and his ship are pretty synonymous.
Oh, yeah, 100%, but there's nothing can outlive.
No, but those two are kind of like...
So I definitely think that a spoiler is him. I do think that it'll probably reveal that
You really think they would bring him back that quickly by second season? Mm-hmm. I think they would save him for like a final season.
You got to think about it. 8 hours is essentially... What, 4 movies? If you're doing it by time? 2.5 movies, I guess you could say, as far as footage goes. Essentially, this is what you're doing. You're doing...
I think it takes away too much from him. From the Mandalorian.
It depends on how they use him.
I want to know if that voice actor is still
alive. They could use him... No, I don't believe he is.
No?
They could use him a la Tony Stark in Spider-Man Homecoming. Where it's not essentially that role, but he's in it sparingly, right? Like maybe for help, or maybe he's a friend or a family member. What if he's freaking related? You never know. I don't know if I'd like that, but who knows? But yeah, so we obviously think that the spoiler is going to be related to Boba Fett. We will find out next Tuesday, and look out for our after show or
he's
spoilers.
Still alive.
Huh?
Boba Fett's alive. Voice is still alive.
Oh, is he really?
He's only 74.
See, I don't think they would get him.
Can you imagine hearing "You're no good to me"?
Dad. Well, you know that he's like a top 3 Star Wars character for me. He was always one of my favorites.
You have a giant poster of him over
of him and Han Solo and Carbonite. Yeah. So yeah, look out for that next week as we kind of do a spoiler discussion. You'll find out our thoughts on that. If it is in fact Boba Fett, if it isn't, that'd be really cool because we'll be shocked and surprised. But
I literally have no idea what else.
The possibilities are truly endless on this one.
Yeah.
But let's dive into some questions here about the Mandalorian, and I threw some stuff up on the chat for us on the Google Doc, about theories on what it could be for the spoiler, and then we went on to show expectations. Will it change Star Wars forever? The importance of it for Star Wars. I kind of want to dive into those a little bit because it is a big deal. It's the first live-action Star Wars. We've mentioned Star Wars fandom already and how toxic it is and how the fandom has kind of been in an odd place the last year and a half, right? It's been in a very, very different kind of place. And so could this... Not that it is the saving grace, because it's not.
It is the saving grace.
You really do think it is? Why? Expand on that a little bit.
Because I think people are going to lose their ever-loving mind for this show.
I agree. Yeah.
And it's going to draw people back into the love that they haven't felt in a while. People are going to eat this show up. I have a feeling this show is going to explode. I mean, it's being made by amazing people. There are amazing actors in it. The characters seem dope. Give me IG-88 by Taika Waititi.
It's not 88.
Oh, what is it? Oh,
IG-11.
11. Okay, whatever. The robot that is gonna F you-know-what up. This ship, people are going to go crazy for this show. Go crazy for the show, and it's going to bring the negative Nancy's back into it a little bit.
Well, the biggest thing is that it's going to show a different side of Star Wars that we've been asking for 5 years now, right? It's expanding on the universe. It's not showing something new. You know,
no Force, no lights.
Well,
we don't know about Force, but
Rogue One was a very different kind of movie, but it was connected to what we've known.
Yeah,
because of the Death Star plans and all that type of stuff. It had Vader and all that type of stuff. This is all brand new, and we could get characters we've seen before, and we just talked about Boba Fett. We could very well get a name drop about a Luke Skywalker or something.
You're
because
for sure going to get a name drop of Leia.
Well,
at some point.
That's just the state.
The one character has a rebel tattoo.
Well, she Cara Dune, who is played by Gina Carano, she's an ex rebel shock trooper.
Yeah.
So you will get those connections because that's the era or the time era that the galaxy's in. It's in that time after the Return of the Jedi. Everything's going on with the rebellion, and they're building the new Senate and all that type of stuff, like Mon Mothma and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But
we need to put a disclaimer also. We haven't watched the second trailer.
No, we haven't seen the
We're purposely not watching it, so there might be things we're talking about that might have shown up.
Yeah, and you guys might be yelling like, "Oh, they showed that stuff already."
Yeah.
We haven't. Good. That's a good call. We have not seen the second trailer.
Yeah, I just thought of it.
Yeah, we have not seen it. We're saying it was only 2 weeks out when the trailer dropped. Like, why watch it? But it's not only going to show a different side of Star Wars that you're able to kind of see these new characters and you're able to trust that they can show new characters outside of Luke, Leia, Han, and that lineage, but it's also going to show how much Star Wars can thrive on television. Mm-hmm. Because Star Wars on television, it's television, it's a series. Star Wars on television is a completely new ballgame, but a completely elevated ballgame because it is 8 hours of television. That's like we had mentioned. That's essentially 4 movies. Huh? If you do 4 2-hour movies, that's insane.
It is insane.
And you have movie caliber actors: Pedro Pascal, Gina Carano, Carl Weathers, Werner Herzog is in there, Giancarlo Esposito, and then you're directed by the guy from Iron Man and The Lion King and The Jungle Book of Favreau, and then you have a Star Wars junkie like Filoni on top of Waititi, Bryce Dallas Howard, Deborah Chan, Rick Famuyiwa. Like, it's built to be successful, and it's built to thrive, and it's built to show people, don't hate Star Wars. Come watch this, enjoy what we're doing, and then be excited for something completely new with The Rise of Skywalker as well. 2 different things going on at once. It's a home run. It is an absolute home run. It makes complete sense.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's what we need. Perfect timing. People that, if they hate The Rise of Skywalker, can shut up and go back to the show because it's going to carry into next year.
Yeah, I think there's 2 episodes after it airs.
Like
I think it's 2, which is interesting.
Yeah,
that's very interesting. I'm surprised they're not taking a little bit of a break to kind of pump up, but I imagine because we don't know what Disney Plus is going to look like as far as like ads.
Yeah,
if
I think I saw something today. They're like banner ads.
If they do that, it's going to be all Star Wars Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
all over the place because it's Disney owned, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this then. So, do you think that this show in particular, the first season, is it going to change Star Wars forever?
Yes.
How so?
No question.
You answered that so quick.
No question. Because it's a TV show. It's like you said, an area that has not been touched. And this is Disney's chance to prove that they can do Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Like, the movies, people are like, whatever, the movies. They never touched, George Lucas never touched a live-action TV show.
He wanted to.
He
couldn't get the budget for it.
He wanted to, but he didn't. As much as we want to say it, he didn't. He did not do it. Disney gets to put their complete stamp on something brand new and say, hey, we did that. We brought you a TV show, a live-action TV show. That's uncharted territory. Yeah. That's new for everyone. No one can say, oh, that's just like da-da-da-da. Because there wasn't anything before it. At all. So, it's going to change how stories are told in Star Wars. Like, at first when we heard the Knights of the Old Republic stuff, we were like, holy crap, if they tell a Knights of the Old Republic story through, like, a TV show, that would be crazy, because then they can dive into the story a lot more. It's an option. Their options just went from, like, this to, like, this. Like, it's true. Like, I mean...
Well, and it's already opened up doors. The Obi-Wan movie, which was supposed to happen 4, 5, 6 years ago, whenever Disney got Star Wars.
Hell, we heard about that before. Even.
Yeah, it didn't work out, and Ewan McGregor came out and said himself. He said that it was supposed to be a movie, and because of the response to The Mandalorian and all these type of things, they're doing a TV show,
and it is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
His story deserved to be told out more than quick little, and I say quick, but 2.5 hour movies.
You can take the script for an Obi-Wan trilogy and expand on it for 8 episodes.
And that's what's going to change Star Wars forever, because you can now make these movies and say that character was popular as hell in the Star Wars.
Cassian Andor K2SO?
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. If this came out the time Return of the Jedi Empire Strikes Back came out, Boba Fett was only in it for, like, what? 20 minutes?
Very small amount.
They could have easily been like, let's give him a TV show. People were freaking out over him. They love him. They could have had a TV show about it. This is now something that they can do if they make a movie. I mean, maybe they kill off the character in the movie. We can still give him his backstory. Here's a TV show. It changes everything, because you're no longer confined to a movie or a book. That people don't always want to read a book. People don't like reading. We listen to the audio. I like to read, but audiobooks more convenient for me.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean everyone does it. TV shows, people get to do at their own pace, own time, whenever they want, on their couch. It's complete game changer for Star Wars.
And we are not saying that Star Wars is going to live on TV. We're not saying that Star Wars is going to be a solely TV property going forward, or that TV is going to be better for it. Star Wars is a movie franchise.
Yeah.
It's a movie. It will always be a big screen experience. That's where it should live. But if you're telling a story like The Mandalorian, or Cassian Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Mos Eisley Cantina story like they've rumored for so long, those fit for the small screen, because you can expand on the story that you have with not just 1 or 2 characters, but you can have 6, 7, like Game of Thrones. Yep. You can't do Game of Thrones on film. There's too many things going on. You can do that on a movie.
Yep.
Or a TV show, I should say. And so it definitely does change it. It changes it big time for the better. It will also allow movies to kind of do their own thing as well.
Yep.
And people won't be clamoring for a Knights of the Old Republic story on the big screen, because they very well could get 4 or 5 seasons of it on television.
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting. It's very exciting. The show is already getting incredible reviews, and so it already looks like an absolute game changer, and I think that it's for the better, and it's going to be...
and you can make these things dark and gritty, too.
Yeah.
I mean, parents don't want to take kids to see it,
yeah.
to see a not PG-13 type Star Wars movie. I mean, you can make
with their budget they're giving them.
I mean, Disney's not going to put out no rated R, hard Star Wars, bloody Deadpool type thing. They're never going to do that. But you can make it dark as hell if you need to, especially if you're going to try to maybe start like telling the origin of the Sith or something. I mean,
I'm all in for that.
It unlocks a lot of possibilities, and Disney gets to make it how they want to make it, because there's nothing behind them that people are going to go, it's not like that.
Totally. I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.